Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Wake Up Real Estate. It's just Jordan and I today. Ryan is on the road. He's traveling. Once again, good morning. Welcome to Wake Up Real Estate. It's Monday, so we're going to do a little mortgage, motivation, and marketing on a Monday. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, smash the bell. If this is your first time here, we got a whole bunch of new subscribers over the weekend to the YouTube channel. So thank you for that. Keep that coming. If you haven't already subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. And if you prefer listening on your favorite podcast platform, please subscribe, rate, and review there. I don't have a social post of the day. That's normally Ryan's domain. You can go and take any of the old social posts that you'll find on the site. When you go and create a free account at wakeup.realestate, you can take any of the old ones. And if you've never posted them, or take an old one and reimagine it. And voila, there you go. I'm going to do a real quick motivation. I haven't said this in a while. Some of the longtime listeners know this, but each and every morning, usually before 6 a.m., I text my kiddos. Not all of my kids have phones. 3 out of the 4 have phones. But I send a text to the 3 out of the 4, and I send a kids messenger message to the other one with some kind of mindset, motivation, something along those lines. And my goal with that is to sort of, in a good way, brainwash them into having positive, uplifting, encouraging mindsets and to create good habits. So that is, I don't know, for whatever that's worth. That's a lot of times where I'm pulling these. For example, today, very simple. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Creating new empowering habits is what you should be trying to do. Now, the problem is oftentimes people try to create a whole bunch of new habits all at once, right? Pick something in some area of life and commit to making that a habit and do that for the next 90 days until it becomes completely habitual. And you don't even have to think about it. So I'll give you for example, I'll give you several real world examples. Example number 1, business related. Every Friday morning at 8:30 a.m., we send out our weekly email newsletter to my local database of buyers and sellers, sphere of influence, past clients, etc. I have literally been doing that every Friday since the beginning of 2020, and I've missed one time. It is something that has become a business habit that creates more opportunities for me. And if you missed Friday's show, you should go back after this one and watch Friday, because I share a love letter, a client love letter that I got, a client replying to that Friday email, telling me her life story, basically. Hey, we need to buy a house in this area. We need to have an in-law quarters. We're having our parents move in with us. And oh, by the way, I uncovered through our communication throughout the weekend that they have a home to sell in West Virginia and her parents have a home to sell locally. So potentially at least 3 transaction sides. Now, one of them I'll have to refer, the West Virginia one, et cetera. But that would not have happened, or would be much less likely to have happened, if I hadn't been sending that weekly email newsletter every single day. Other habits, empowering for you. I've been doing Thursday, I talked about pumping and prospecting, right? Pump and iron, and in between sets, prospecting, communicating with people, right? Find ways to layer in good habits, and over time you will win. So there's a little motivation for you on a Monday. Mark says Monday with the smiley faces. Good morning. Heather Wilson, good morning. Mike, good morning. Daphne, good morning. You've inspired me, and I've started doing that to my college kids. That's awesome, Daphne. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know they don't read them all the time, but every once in a while, something will happen, and they say something that means that is at least evidence or some kind of proof that like some of it is sinking in. So Lo says, let's go. That's right, Lo. So here's what I want to do on the mortgage front. Here's what we're going to talk about. Friday, I spoke with, and then Jordan spoke with a team in a husband and wife team in Atlanta. They've got a large database. They're good producers, and they're the type of agents that we're really looking to connect with and directly help them by acting as their ISA team, creating appointments, etc. So anyway, I spoke with them. Jordan then spoke with them later in the day, and we're getting them going onboarding wise later today. Are us actually working inside of their CRM to generate more appointments? Which, by the way, if you're interested in that, if you or as an individual producer or on a team, if you have at least 30 transaction sides and or 5 million in volume over the last 12 months, you should schedule a time for us to chat at josh15.com. And if you can't find a time that works, just text me directly. My number's all over the internet, but it's 717-571-0456. That's not the point here. The point is, we had those conversations on Friday. Then Sunday morning, I get a Facebook message from the husband that says the following. Okay, I'm believing you and your team and all that plus the ham sandwich, which I had not heard that particular analogy before, but regardless, maybe it's a Georgia thing. Jordan is working on a loan right now for $995,000 as a first deal. Again, just a hair under $1 million. And Jordan, we were chit-chatting in the green room, quote unquote, before we went live. And there's a whole lot more to the story. It's not like that, they just handed over this like easy peasy deal. And so Jordan is going to highlight some ways that if we can creatively think about transactions and financing, you can save deals maybe that are falling apart. You can create deals out of thin air in many cases where you have people that are somewhat interested, but they have an objection or a hurdle in their mind that they can't get over, but we might be able to help them get over by looking at it creatively. So Jordan, why don't you unpack?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I'm talking to clients, I don't just get their mortgage financial picture. I'm not just running payments mindlessly and saying, okay. We have a string of exploratory questions to really figure out what they want, right? What are their goals? What do they want? How are they going to get into the place where they can buy their dream home, right? Their home that they specifically want, and checks all the boxes or gets as close as we can possibly can. Well, this home was $995,000, right? Their current mortgage payment is $2,200. That is that is a far gap that I have to bridge together. And he says he realizes he doesn't want it need his payment there, and they did have 20% down to put down, but so I looked over at their overall financial picture, and this is really what you want in a lender is look at their total debts, right? This is before we even did a formal application. I'm asking them what kind of car payments they have, what's the interest rates on their cars, things like that. Well, their car rates were about 8%. They had about $1,600 in car payments. So instead of putting 20% down on a mortgage, we put a little less money down and went with paying off the cars, which the car payoffs were only about $80,000. $80,000 spread over 30 years on our mortgage is not going to be a huge impact, but $80,000 paying off $1,600 in payments are going to be a massive impact. So I didn't get I was about $600 off from that $2,200, but we ended up around a $4,600 payment for the house, $4,700 payment for the house. And taking away that $1,600 in payment dropped it enough that, they wanted to at least discuss it with their family, because they were having their in-laws move in and their sister move in, and it had an in-law in quarter. It checked off all the boxes. And I tried to just reiterate with them, date the rate, marry the house, marry the house, date the rate. With this being said, the car notes are higher than the interest rate we're going to offer them anyway. I mean, it doesn't make financial sense not to do that anyway. And I just told him, I was like, listen, interest rates might go up, but at the end of the day, they also, are projected to go down mostly. And if they go down, you'll end up paying less than you're paying now and have the house that you want. So don't forego getting the house you want just because you're going to be a little uncomfortable. Even if we can get close by reorganizing your debt, that is the best option. And essentially, they would be debt free, completely debt free, and buy the house that fits their entire family's needs.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
This is one example, but this is the kind of service and expertise and creative problem solving that Jordan and our team is doing on a regular basis for clients. And I think it's one of the value propositions that we are offering folks that we are working with. There are several, but this is a big one. And we talked about another last week on last Wednesday's show. We were talking about creative ways to buy your first investment property. And so one of the things that we often do, I'm sure many of you listening, you've had clients where they get pre-approved and you find out the amount they're pre-approved for is literally, it's not just trying to find a needle in the haystack. It's like trying to find the head.
I just had someone this weekend, $70,000. I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is I'm not gonna encourage a client to go, hey, go talk to your realtor now that you're pre-approved $70,000 to try to find something, because I'm setting unrealistic expectations, right?
But maybe we can get them pre-approved for 2, 3, 4 times the amount if they're buying a multi-unit and living in one of them. Maybe it may or may not work, but that is an illustration of the kind of problem solving and creative approach that we bring to every every situation or scenario, especially the ones that are a little bit trickier, right? That scenario that Jordan just illustrated, I mean, he's not a licensed financial planner, but I mean, I don't know, that was some significant financial advice and planning that, well, at least the husband was extremely excited about. And that was the very first interaction. Like, I've known this husband and wife team, known them for a little while, but never really had any interaction, etc. So if you have any unique situations, scenarios, if you have any buyers or sellers, whatever, who have been pre-approved and you'd like a second look, or how we might creatively change or adjust. In fact, I'll give another illustration. My very first experience with Jordan was similar to this. We had a client that they were selling. She was selling her townhome and she wanted to move closer to family. And she was going to rent because the numbers just weren't making sense. And same idea. Jordan looked, how can we move some things around here to lower the overall debt burden per month and have this make sense for you? And we saved the sale of her townhouse because she was deciding, should I just stay in this one? Should I sell it? And should I rent? We sold hers. We found her a new townhome, and we beat the pants off the other lender that she was considering getting that loan with as well.
It was a builder, wasn't it? Wasn't it a builder offering a package?
Yeah. Yep. So if you have any of those questions, scenarios, etc., you can reach out to me, or Jordan, you can reach out to him directly, 913-543-0875, 913-543-0875. I want to share one sort of marketing, just a reminder, and I'm going to be reminding our mortgage team of this at 12:30 as well. When you are having a conversation by email, by text, by phone, by direct message, you should never end a communication without an expectation of response. Usually that means asking a question. It doesn't necessarily always mean that, but usually, or the easiest way to do that is ask a question. And the reason why this came up for me is I have seen too many examples lately where we're making statements and leaving the ball in their court. You are asking for the communication to die. So asking a question, and I was listening to if you, for fans of the show know that I have a bromance with Alex Hormozy. I was listening to him this weekend. He says ACA, acknowledge, compliment, and I would say in parentheses, if applicable, right? Acknowledge, compliment, if applicable, and ask. That is have to be anytime you're having any sort of conversation with any level of potential client or client, like just in general, you should be doing that. So what kind of questions would you ask? I don't know. It needs to relate to the situation. So I had some examples of we have automated messaging that goes out. And one of the questions is, are you looking for a single family home or would a townhome be okay? And they reply single family. Well, I'm not just going to say, okay, thank you. I'm going to say, oh, got it. Thanks, Ram. Ram was the one that replied this morning. What price range are you thinking? Question mark. Right? So continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Continue the conversation.
Let's lead it down the rabbit hole, right? And until they get committed.
Yeah.
So same concept with, on the mortgage side is every once in a while we get on, you're right, we get onto our mortgage team because they don't continue the conversation. They're like, okay, that's great.
ACA and keep it short and sweet. ACA, keep it short and sweet. What questions should we ask? Charla, I am currently putting together a doc with just a dump of a bunch of, and by I mean Mike. Mike is currently putting together a doc with just a brain dump of all of our conversation continuation questions. Every week we share questions that open conversations, right? On Texting Tuesday, which by the way, we're going to do that tomorrow. Those are all over the wakeup.real estate site. If you go and create your free account, wakeup.real estate, go to scripts and templates, there's loads of them there. But then what? Right? What do you do when they reply to that initial, right? So we're putting together this document with just a brain dump of all types of questions. And then it's a matter of fitting the question to whatever it is. And there's no perfect answer, right? Sometimes it's a question where it's a binary question, yes or no, or one or two, or single family or townhome, right? But once you've gotten them conversing with you and gotten some of those bite-sized answers, it then can be okay to ask a more open-ended question, right? But not up front. So that's another mistake, a marketing mistake that people make, is they ask an open-ended question too early, and then that feels like work to the prospect, and that's why you end up getting ghosted. So you've got to grease the funnel a little bit, easy questions, and then you can ask the open-ended, more detailed questions. So we're working on that.
Can I add to that?
Probably be ready tomorrow, or at least it's a working doc, and we'll probably have it ready tomorrow, and I'll share how you can get that on tomorrow's show. How's that for a team?
I find this often a lot as well, especially on the mortgage side. When we're setting up a time to talk, a lot of people are like, what's the best time next week to talk? That is, what does your schedule look like? That's not a good question to ask.
Right.
That is, I have to go look at my schedule. It's the same thing. Even me, I don't like it, right? When someone's asking me, hey, what does your schedule look like? Just give me a time and I'll look at it. And, just give me 2 times, I'll pick one. Or
would you be available next week for a quick chat? Does Monday morning work, or would Tuesday afternoon be better?
Yeah.
Right? And then they'll choose either or they'll say, you know what? I'm off on Wednesday. Could we do that? But either way, you're getting a finite answer, and you're not offloading the work to the prospect. You're making it easy for them to give you the answer. And that's really what you're trying to do, is make it as easy as possible for them to give you all the information so you can provide better service and better value to them. And also, once they share it with you, they don't necessarily want to go share it with, 2, 3, 4, 5 other real estate professionals or mortgage professionals. If you get that information from them, if they share their life story when it comes to real estate, they're not going to want to share it with a bunch of other people as long as you don't screw it up. As long as you don't screw it up, they're like Amy, who sent me that client love letter, she's now sent me several very detailed emails. As long as I don't screw it up, she doesn't want to share all that with other agents, right? It's why there is data that says that most people, whether buying or selling, 75% ish is what the stats say, talk with one agent. Okay, one. So you have a 3 in 4 chance. Okay, 3 out of 4 times. If they talk with you, if they have a significant conversation with you, as long as you don't screw it up, they will work with you. Okay, the key point in there, as long as you don't screw it up. Okay, you gotta continue to, you gotta follow up, follow through. You got to make good on your promises, right? You got to do what you say and say what you do, or whatever that phrase is. Okay, we're gonna come in for a landing here. Some housekeeping items. Tomorrow is Texting Tuesday. Okay, and we'll have that document ready, at least ready enough that we can share it. And because it's we always make those as Google Docs, it'll be a work in progress. And as we have other questions we can add there, conversation continuation type questions, we'll add that to them. On Wednesday, we've got 2 things for your viewing pleasure. Number 1, our normal Wake Up Real Estate show. Jordan is going to be on, and we're going to talk about no income, no employment mortgage financing options. No income, no employment financing options. You heard correctly.
I like to call them self-employment loans, because
self-employment
people have employment, right?
Yeah.
They have employment, but they don't have any income shown.
The point is, you don't have to document to the lender your income or employment.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to talk about different programs, what that looks like, and how you can help more clients and do more deals with those programs. And then at 1 Eastern, we're going to do our weekly mastermind workshop. Last week, we were on Zoom for, 90 minutes or more. And while live on the workshop, we set something like 13 appointments. Okay. So we'll mastermind, but we're actually going to do the work while live there as well. So we'll be actually in CRM, prospecting, etc. And I think Ryan also promised that on this week's session, he's going to build a lead generating ad campaign on Facebook and Instagram as well. So if you don't have any fresh opportunities flowing into your database, we'll show you how to do that as well. I'm working on a special guest for Thursday, for Tech Tip Thursday, which will be a follow-up to something I shared on Friday, which, by the way, go back and watch Friday's show for the client love letter example and the home value leads follow-up protocol, which since Friday has uncovered 2 more listing opportunities from me. So you definitely want to check that out. And in the meantime, if you have questions, if you need help, if you're, you've got some warm referrals for Jordan and I and the mortgage team, we would love the opportunity to work with you on that front. If you haven't done so, create a free account at wakeup.realestate. Please subscribe to the channel, Wake Up Real Estate on YouTube, and let's make it a wonderful, wonderful and productive week. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Chris says, I actually just got another text response and have a phone appointment in 5 minutes. So Chris wasn't on the Wednesday workshop, but we were actually generating appointments in her CRM. And then I was like panicked because I was like, well, I didn't really let Chris know that we were doing that. Hopefully Chris isn't like on vacation. But I had wanted, I knew that she had some home value seller leads. And so anyway, Chris, kudos. And hopefully you weren't too mad at me when Mike was reaching out saying, hey, Chris, we have like 9 or 10 people that want to talk to you about selling their house. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you can expect on the Wednesday workshops, which, oh, by the way, is wakeup.realestate/MM. Wakeup.realestate/MM. It's free to register. It's a Zoom session. They're more live and interactive and intimate than these sessions here. Jordan, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let us know if we can do anything to help you. make it a great week and see you all tomorrow.
Thanks.